quick video, folks. This came up in my whole point. I just want to thank everyone for the donations too. Y'all really helped me out with that. I really appreciate it. We need more stuff like that in community. Mutual aid stuff like that. That's great, man. I y'all guys really helped me dodge a bullet here. So I wanted to thank the folks there because I don't know, some it could have been some of my subscribers that probably donated. So I'm happy, and I thank everyone for that. Um, I could get this rent paid, but apart from that, this is a quick video because me and my brother, we called each other. We were on a Skype call, and he he was discussing certain things that he saw on the news in the U.S. media because he lives in Israel, and he was wondering on what the hell's going on with the CRT panic. What the hell's going on with the hysteria of critical race theory, and now they're trying to ban books about LGBTQ themes and things of that nature, and saying like, well, these kids are minors, they can't do that. So my brother came up with this funny suggestion to the parents or the counter protesters to the CRT boards, or these people trying to do, face AstroTurf stuff. My brother says the best thing you can do to tell these people to shut the hell up is to literally take the Bible and read every violent and vicious passage that is in the Old Testament and just repeat ad nauseum to the board, why is the Bible being in schools? Just to fuck with these people. And it's a funny suggestion my brother had that I thought was really funny. To say like, since this whole CRT panic, now I'm hearing the underlining, like there's this case in Missouri of them trying to ban LGBTQ friendly, novels and stuff, which is, of course, they were gonna go at this is the function. They were gonna go after they're gonna go after the race stuff, and this fits perfectly in the playbook of, in many ways, white evangelical Christianity, which is like which has this obsession with sexual activities. They have an obsession based on, because the stain of the Puritans that came to this country, and how they're ridiculously rigid their society was. I want to see how ridiculously rigid. There was a good movie that came out with Anna Taylor-Joy, the guy who directed Midsummer. He did a movie called The Witch, and movie's actually pretty good. It's actually about liberation just a very libertary story, because at the end of the movie, the female character gets liberated from the change of almost her being a witch. It's almost like saying it's actually a good thing that happens, that she chose to side with the devil and everything, and chose to be the witch and everything else. The director's basically saying, those who are quote unquote considered the forces of darkness are in the movie are actually really the good guys, and the ones who have this rigid moral absolutist culture of repression is they are the bad people at the end of the day. So the Puritans have basically still stayed with our culture to this day. Right-wing evangelicals have been trying to get rid of anything that has to do with pornography, things of that nature. They've been trying to do that for decades now. They would gladly ban the hell out of everything. A lot of them have their hands in the anti-trafficking stuff. You can't buy a word of what these people say. And remember, these are the same people who hate this stuff, but they preach to the choir about prosperity gospel. So the one sin that is good for these right evangelical Christians is greed. Woo! Anyhow, it shows where their Christianity is. It's in a freaking dumpster at this point. Sorry if I'm cruel about it, but that's just how it is at the end of the day. You can't preach me how you have all these degenerates and immoral people, and then you're sitting here basically lapping up saying, well, greed is okay. And of course they go after sloth too. They're like, oh, well, sloth is bad because people don't work. Because, work, you want to exploit your employees, so they can work harder. So you, as the rich person, can make money because, greed seems to be the one sin that is okay. Um, but yeah, I mean, Josh Hawley's talking about it too with, well, porn is ruining the lives of young men. And I'm just like, wow, okay, we're going into that level of crap. Because let me tell you something. I've known people who are, a couple of my buddies who study sexology, and they can tell you, they're just like, and some of my, female colleagues who know about it, and they shake their heads like, here we go with this porn addiction shit again. People just keep making up freaking impulse control problems. All at the end of the day, but yet certain impulses are okay, but others aren't, which is, that's where you can tell there's sort of like there's an agenda going on, the fact that you're pushing certain stuff. But apart from that, right? The fact of the matter is, what is this at the end of the day? It's about basically, well, we have to protect the children. The children, we have to protect the kids. Now, remember, this goes into this logic of the naivety of children. Particularly white kids. There's this thing where, white children are these pure-hearted things that you must protect from the corrupt world around you. To hell with kids of color, because, we don't seem to have a problem when they're getting bombed to kingdom come in, I don't know, in Gaza. Yeah, we don't really give two shits about that. But, when it comes to white children, we must protect their innocence from the degenerates that are out there. And it's just, I know the game already, because let me tell you something. They're not talking about kids that look like my nephew. Okay. They're not talking about kids that look like, my little cousin. They're not talking about those kids. They're talking about exclusively mostly like white children, these right wingers. It's racialized, heavily racialized. So I don't buy for a second that these people are actually talking about children as a whole, in my opinion. Because if we see how children are being treated in the global south, they wouldn't be opening their mouths the way they're talking. But anyhow, let's not dwell on that part, because, those kids starve to death. They deserve to die. So, I don't buy them. I don't buy it when they say shit like this. When they say, oh, we care about these kids, and look, the morality. And it's like, dude, don't play that game with me. And you don't really care about actual children for real. So it's a specific type of child you are. And we're talking about white evangelicals. So, and this goes into like that weird patriarchal, sexist, weird conception of maintaining white populations, and white women are baby making factories. It gets into that weird shit. So at the end of the day, CRT just, is another moral panic, like the satanic panic. Nah, but it is the same. It's basically white fragility, self-masturbatory bullshit at the end of the day. So, it's parents talking about how we don't want our kids to be exposed to this, and it's like, I mean, all right. Okay. And it sucks? This creates children who become incredibly and extremely naive. I mean, this is the reason why people of color have issues with white people. Because y'all teaching y'all kids to be ignorant. So when certain things happen, that white kid is going to react like a complete, is not going to understand how to react. Because you basically have allowed ignorance to basically circumvent this person. And then you wonder why certain black people or people of color look at you white people like, really, bruh? You wonder why they look at you like that. Because you're teaching your kids ignorance. You're teaching them to be blissfully ignorant of the world around them. So, because you don't see this happening. I do not see parents in, listen, I see no parents in the Bronx or in Brooklyn or in any other place, even though they are, not to say these communities can't be conservative, but I don't see them going to school boards being like, why do you have this in the school? Because I don't know, maybe people of color have this sort of acceptance of, well, education's important. Even if you disagree with the education, education's important. I guess white parents have a privilege to complain and act that way, while people, parents of children of color, they don't. So, that's why I've always been puzzled by it. And my brother asked that question. He was just like, yo, no parent in Washington Heights is going to the freaking school board and talking about how this is there. I mean, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Even when you have the CRT stuff in New York, the hysteria, it's mostly white parents. I don't see no person of color with their kids being like, why are you teaching this? And of course, there's a reason for that, because some of these CRT people don't want their kids to know anything about history of racism in America, which is in general. Some of them don't even, to be honest, some of them just don't want their kids to know anything about history of the United States. So, I don't want to make this a repetition. I made a video about this months ago, a couple months ago. But the fact of the matter is, that's just what it is at the end of the day. So I think that was a hilarious suggestion that my brother would use, and I think that's actually a good tactic to use against these sort of ridiculous, because it's a culture war nonsense, and the best way you can do that is to basically play at their own game in some instances, and also know what's happening, because Republicans, they don't have anything economically viable for these people. They don't. They have nothing. They're doing culture war bullshit to basically be like, we got nothing economically, fuck. Because, all the Republicans got is Reaganomics, and they're still operating under that model of Reaganomics being a good thing. Right-wing economic, libertarian economic models. So, they got nothing. So they have to use the CRT thing just to, they have to do it to save their asses. At the end of the day. Also, it's an attempt to also go after teachers, and I think it's also an attempt to go after teacher unions specifically. I think Charles Russo, the guy who basically started the moral panic, along with J.D. Vance and these other idiots, they also are the people take J.D. Vance seriously. This guy worked at the American Enterprise Institute. That is a red flag in of itself. So, come on. So, if you want to counter these people, that's what my brother said, which is funny. He basically just said, if I was in a classroom like this, I'll just ask the parents, even in the school board, I would then ask the question, why do you want us to teach the Bible in the school? Because if you teach the Bible in the school, we will add the violent, psychopathic passages in the Bible. Like the idea that God loves the smell of burning flesh. We're going to read that out. And how he wants you to cut people's foreskins off and put it in a sack. We're going to read that. And it was funny. My brother was being funny with it, but, semi-serious. He was just like, that's what, at the end of the day, that's kind of what you got to do to counter these idiots, to just shut them the hell up. It's just, if they're going to complain about this, it's funny. My brother's like, what's next? They're going to ban the Iliad? It could go to that level of stupid. Like, they might just be like, fuck it, we're just going to ban the Iliad. What? So you're just going to ban any story about Greek mythology? Okay. Okay, I guess that's fine. Okay. It just comes off as just like, now you're going off the deep end here. Because that's where now you're reaching into this bizarre sort of Christian totalitarianism, which, to be honest, most of these people, these right-wing, white evangelicals believe in. It's a sort of Christian totalitarian, ultra-authoritarian. This is why people make fun of these people and call them, y'all are the white Taliban. That's what you guys are. You basically, the Christian Taliban strikes again. And it's like, that's what it is. You know, that's why you guys are no different from the Taliban. The only difference is that you guys don't like them because they're brown and they happen to be Muslim, even though you guys agree with the same fucking logic as these people. So it's absurd. Um, at the end of the day, so I already knew that these people were going to quote unquote then go after LGBTQ plus literature. I already knew that was going to happen because I knew the race stuff. I was like, okay, they're going to try to basically ignore U.S. history. And then underlining it, they're like, oh, we're going after LGBTQ people now. And I'm like, there it is. There it is. It didn't take that long, but there you go. It didn't take that long, you know. An excuse they're saying is like, well, these are minors. These are da-da-da-da. And, you know, my brother said, easy to counter that. You guys want to teach them about Jesus and the Bible, you got to read the Old Testament in the most violent way you can. I mean that's it. If you want these kids to know anything, we got to teach the most vile passages of the Old Testament. If that's where you want to go with it. At the end of the day. And it was funny, you know, my brother made that suggestion. He said, go protesters, go to these anti-CR school boards. Go in there and literally go in front of the board, do a parody sort of thing where you go to the school board and you basically do like a protest. You do a sub-parody where you have the guy who says his piece and then you come behind the person who said their CRT bullshit. And then you go in and you say, all right, I'm going to read the passage in the Bible that says that David cut the foreskins of his enemies and put it in a sack. You know what? That's not a bad idea at the end of the day. I mean, that's what you're going to have to do if you want to tell these people to shut the hell up at the end of the day. Because when you do that, they're going to be like, fuck, that's true. They can't really deny that because it's literally in the fucking Bible. So it's like, if you want to deny it, or they want to do the whole, you know, I love it when they do the whole Christian thing where they try to be like, well, we mean the New Testament, the New Testament. You know, it's like, okay, all right. Nice counterbalance to try to be like, let's not include that. We're talking about the New Testament here, guys. We're not talking about the Old. How convenient. You guys switched to New Testament, even though, you know, there are some passages in the New Testament that are pretty, you know, suspect. So, I mean, we could probably, I mean, hey, you want to block that? Let's read that too. So, you know, it's just absurd at the end of the day. And I already knew they were going to go after LGBTQ people at the end of the day under the surface. It wasn't just going to be, you know, not teaching about U.S. history and racism. Now I think they're of course they're going to have to LGBTQ themes and LGBTQ stuff, you know, and try to ban those. So it's not a surprise. Anyway, that was a quick video on that matter. I just found that whole thing hilarious, and also to see a shout out to people who, you know, did the donation. That was really good. That was really good, great of y'all. So I'm gonna end this video. Y'all have a good day.